Merry Christmas, ladies and gentlemen. Today's episode is going to be kind of a special one. The whole purpose and the premise behind today's discussion is going to be the protection of seniors. We know it's Christmas, and a lot of times seniors will not only look for specialty gifts or items of that nature, they will also look at ways to provide uh, economic stability and resources for those that they love. So, what I want to do is I want to go over and talk about some of the potential issues that I've seen in where they can target seniors, see different ways in how um, there are scams and things like that that have been utilized uh, to try and fool seniors into one, buying things that are overpriced, overrated. And another thing is looking at some of the potential issues that are out there within not only collecting numismatics. You guys know I'm a numismatic. I love coin collecting and things of that nature, but also stacking. You'll see above me a nice, beautiful set of coins that are gold. They're all pre 33. We'll talk a little bit about gold. We're going to talk about a company, and I'm only going to pick on one. It's not because they do anything illegal, but a lot of times there are companies that will create packages, special items that are superiorly overpriced. And they target it and they say very rare, very limited quantities. They put them in a fancy little box and charge people two, three, four, five times the normal value. Now, a lot of seniors will buy these things simply because they're looking at trying to improve the the holdings, the longevity of what they've made for their grandkids or their sons or their daughters or whatnot. So I want to take some time and go over some of these items because being Christmas morning, I think it's very important that we take into consideration some of these items that honestly, a lot of people take for granted. And I know not a lot of people believe this. I have a firm belief in this. Our senior citizens, our grandparents, our parents, our aunts and uncles, those who are our mentors are our greatest resource. They paved the way for us, especially people who enjoy military. So I'm going to target one thing specifically for military here in just a second. First, I want to say hi to a couple people that are coming into chat. So I want to say thank you so much for being here. Merry Christmas. Jack Allman, thank you so much for being a channel member. I appreciate you. John Shank, good morning. Silver Mountain, how are you doing? Hope you're doing well. Eric, good morning. Merry Christmas, my friend. Kevin Hawthorne, he's out and about today. Dislogic is in, and Starika is in the house. So thank you so much for being here. Again, folks, if you can, just double tap that screen. Make sure you smash that like. And if you're not a subscriber, the button's up there. You'll know. Consider subscribing. All right. So, the first thing I want to talk about in relation to protecting our seniors are senior citizen scams. Now, why is this such a big deal? Well, some of the information that I've pulled up is it's quite alarming. Victims, usually senior citizens, are persuaded to move their money from things like their retirement accounts and usually on extremely high markups. They spend a lot of money for a very low liquidity, and the liquidity is they'll never be able to get their money back, right? They'll just never be able to do it. So I'm going to pull up a screen here and I'm going to show you the Danbury Mint. Now, some of you know this. What they do here is not illegal. Sometimes it should be, but I'm going to show you guys this. And if you will do me a favor and look in chat, if you will say, have you ever heard of Danbury Mint? And if you have you ever purchased anything? My grandparents used to love the Danbury Mint. They used to buy plates and all sorts of stuff from them. And what you're seeing here, and I'm going to kind of zoom in and you can see this a little bit, is this is a two coin set that's put in a nice little pine box. Nothing really crazy. What's up, Stan? Good to see you. And it has a little thing here. It's, got the little purple heart thing, but it's just a little box. But what I want to look at is this price right here, $369 for two coins. Uh, Is that a good deal? Well, let's look at this. So the first thing we want to look at is we want to see what two coins are here. So you're going to look at this first coin. This is the $half. Then you're going to look at the second coin, and this is the $1 coin. So there's a dollar and then there's a $half, right? So in order to actually identify whether or not this is a good deal, we actually need to go see if we can find the prices of these other coins. Well, let's look. So what I've done is I went to the United States, excuse me, I went to the United States Mint and pulled up what were the original costs of these. Now you'll be like, hey, Frosty, you can't necessarily always go by the original cost because they might be sold out. And if you look over here, in fact, they are sold out. But what I want you to look at, it was $40 for this $half coin. Now, if I come up here and I look at this one, now this is the colorized, okay? Colorized and not colorized. There was one of each. I'm going to go with the higher end. They're the exact same coin, just one has color, the other one does not. And this was a $95 coin. So if I go through and I start looking at some of these items, and I got this up here, you'll see that there's this colorized coin from govmint.com. This is another site that I have major issue with. NGC proof 70, first day of issue, $394 or $95 for this one coin. Now we just looked at you get the entire set for the same price over at the Danbury Mint. So if you're looking at this, it appears like it's a decent coin, but let's come over here and look at this. So here is the $half, and I can find this online for $43. Now this is done through a reputable company, so it's only $3 over what the US Mint originally did, but it's not in a fancy brown box. But it is only $43. Now, if I want to look at the dollar coin, I can get this. There's two of them here. There's one that's in a slab and one that's not in a slab. But if I want to get one in a slab, then I can find one for about 90 bucks. Now, if we looked at the original price of these, they were $95 from the United States Mint. So this coin has actually come down in value. So if I take these two coins, now I can come over here and look at this one for $99. Even if I go at the higher end, that's not in a slab, it's just still gem brilliant, MS61, MS62. Yeah, I got both of these too, John. But if we look at these, so let's pair these together, we're looking at about $135. Okay, so you're telling me that this little fancy brown box is worth what, 200 bucks? So how do we protect our seniors? Well, first off, uh, let's talk to them about these things, right? We need to make sure we're around them. We need to find out what their interests are. We need to give them information. Now, we got to be careful when we're looking at some of these areas. So this is Mount Vernon Coin Company. This is actually a fairly reputable coin company. This is a place you can buy this. They're going to give you a good deal. It's not eBay. It's not Temu. It's not some of these other sites that you have to really kind of depend and worry about the quality and the quantity of these particular items. These are reputable coin companies that are selling these particular coins. Now, if I go to Mount Vernon Coin Company, and I'm not going to pull this up, but actually I could if you want me to, I can find both of these. So I can actually find both of these coins from the same location for about $132, and that includes shipping. Now, again, why am I picking on the Danbury Mint? Well, I'm only picking on the Danbury Mint because a lot of people know this particular company. But I want to show you some other items that are here and why it's important that we teach people, or get them reputable sources. So make sure we connect them with reputable dealers, make sure we connect them with people who are doing this, not only for gold and silver, but for collectible items as well. Now, I know that many of you know places like Coin Crew. Now, Coin Crew, them and I have talked for a couple of years. I've only been on YouTube for about 2 years, and they've talked to me about people who come in and they bring really cool coins in, but they ended up being replicas or copies. So there's a couple things that I want to do to help with educating, and one of those is going to require understanding the terms that are used when we're looking at these particular items. So the first thing we want to look at is the term replica. Okay, so I'm going to come over here and I'm going to pull up Google real quick, and I'm going to do replica. Okay, now when we look up replica, let's do replica defined. So when we look up replica, it's an exact copy model of something, especially one on smaller scale. And we see this with our models, right? When we get it, we're going to see die cast replicas and things of that nature. But what does a replica mean when we're talking about a coin? Well, it's the same item, it's just a reproduction. There's another term that we have to be thinking of. So I wanted to share with you one thing that is really good. It's a really good source. And if you're not familiar with utilizing one, I would recommend doing it. And that is, what are the synonyms of the term replica or reproduction? So I'm going to type in the reproduction, and we're going to pull up the synonyms. Now, why is this important? So I'm going to zoom in here a little bit, and I'm going to show you these words. And I want these words to be here because it's important that you understand when we're looking at coins, whether you're looking at gold, whether you're looking at silver. Hey, Cracker Stacker, what's up? Hope you're doing well. Thanks for being here. It's important to understand these when you're looking at gold and silver. Now, a lot of people are like, "Oh my God, Frosty, yeah, no kidding, we know this." The problem is that when you're looking for things, a lot of people don't understand that they utilize these in language through eBay, through Temu, through WhatsApp, through your different source buying items, and you need to understand these when you're looking at the descriptions. Now, this is targeted towards seniors. Now, why specifically seniors? Why am I looking at this? Well, some of the research that I did when I was going through some of this, I pulled up a couple different areas. $9.5 million around the area in ILEV, almost $7 million around the District of Columbia, the Washington, D.C. area. We're fooled every year into seniors being fooled every year into buying investment fraud. Now, a lot of investment fraud has to do with things like investment metals. And how do they do this, right? So we're looking at things like they create false senses of urgency. Oh my God, you got to get this. This is the last of these deals. We got to really buy this. You got to get on this. Go buy this now. Quantities are limited. You got to jump on this. Now, if you hear some of these coin shows, and you guys know who they are, I don't need to name them. But if you hear some of these coins say, oh, quantities are limited, you got to buy this right now. Otherwise, we're going to be live. We're going to be gone. Uh, Seniors who are wanting to invest in something for their kids or their grandkids, um, if they have, 3 or 4 grandkids and they want to make sure they get those, they're going to hear these things and they're going to want to go after them. Am I picking on seniors? No, I'm trying to protect seniors. This is something that happens every year. We're talking about $1 billion industry in the senior scam thing. So I want to look at this. One of the other things that they do is they fail to store the metals in an independent bank. They put them in storage facilities and they say, hey, if you don't have a safe place to store these, or let's say you have a child that, potentially is stealing from you, we have a place that you can store these. Send all of your precious metals to us and we will protect you from this. And it sounds really good to people, and they don't have a safe, or they don't have a good place to do this, or they don't want maybe a troubled teen going through and stealing their stuff, and so they want to protect it without really doing due diligence. They send it to somebody. They get people who are calling and saying, "Hey, are, are you over 65?" And it's like, If you are, we got a really special deal for you." "Oh, actually, I am. I'm much older than that." "Oh, outstanding. Well, because you're a senior citizen, I have a special deal, and we can safeguard your investment retirement. Actually, we can help you secure it in such a way that your kids will, be set for life. Is that something you really want to do? That's great. I bet you have one of these scams. It's called a 401k, right? Oh, yes, I do. I have $500,000 in it outstanding. Did you know that gold is increasing its value where stocks often drop off? We can give you gold and we can put this in here. So what we're going to do is we're going to give you some golden coins, and we're going to trade that money out. We're going to send you golden coins. Outstanding. Everybody's happy. They think it sounds like a really, really good idea. But what happens? Well, this is what happens. They get these things. So I'm going to go over here. Now, remember these. Okay, we're going to look at these. But I'm going to go golden coins. Now, you guys can do this. This is simply just Google. Okay, and I want you to look at this. Golden coins. Okay, so watch. Remember, I told you that there are terminologies that are utilized. Merry Christmas, Rakim official. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate that. Tobacco Row says I'll be 65 in June. Well, good. Hopefully, you'll learn some information here and can protect yourself against investment fraud, especially when it comes to collectible coins or the bullion market. Golden coins. All right, we're going to get in here. We're going to see some golden coins. Outstanding. And we're going to scroll down through here and we're going to see a bunch of stuff. And we're going to see Cougarans. We're going to see all sorts of nice, fancy golden coins. Right. And so we go through here and you're like, oh, this is really cool. Oh, wow. Hey, anybody see a problem with a 1 ounce gold for $24.38? Okay, so these things are out there, and this is exactly what people will sell senior citizens don't actually know what they're getting. They'll send them gold style coins, or they'll say something like 999 mil gold, indicating that there's just a very, very, very thin sheeting of gold over top of maybe it's copper or maybe it's some sort of other non precious metal. You can go through here if you're buying gold of this type, you can see this. One thing that is often found, and I did a story on this not too long ago, was one from Yahoo Finance. Yahoo Finance is supposed to be a fairly decent company. They're supposed to be doing research and really understand what's happening in the regard of this. And so when we look at these particular items, what we're seeing is we're seeing people utilize amazing, oh God, Starika, yeah, we won't even get into the extended car offers. Absolutely just pure trolling. But one thing that's in here, if you scroll through some of these, and we'll go back through here and I'm going to clear this and open up a new window. And I always like to open a new window because when you open new windows and you go, if I can type, you almost always get new information. You can see I did golden dollar this time and I got Sacagaweas. Now, the reason that I'm pulling the Sacagawea up is if you look at some of these and you scroll through, you'll see here we go 2000 Sacagawea pre owned, $1,600. The reason that I'm pulling this one up particularly is that this particular coin was a topic of conversation in a Yahoo Finance thing where they were talking about gold investment for seniors. And on the gold investment, they said you need to invest in gold coins or gold bullion. And the gold coin that they showed was the Sacagawea dollar. Now we know that this isn't a gold coin. This is actually a manganese coin that's gold colored. Okay, so there's a lot of these scams out there that will pull up and provide information. You guys should really be careful with this. You need to add the word solid when you're looking for gold. Well, even solid gold, you've got to be careful with because there are different terminologies when you're looking for it. Now, there are some things you need to look for. Again, when you're talking about 999 or 0.99 fine gold, right? Even though it says 4 nines fine, you may see something looking back at those descriptions and looking back. Always read the description, folks, right? Always read this. You'll find a lot of times when you're reading the description and you look through multiple listings, you'll find the very same style listing. This great American coin act sold many times for minimal number of dollars. This gold value must have could be worth millions later. Enjoy this copy fine nice. Uh you should have a problem with the language in this. It's important we identify the proper utilization of language. Now, if you're reading something in German, uh, you may not speak German, so you may not understand it. But if it's something written in English and it's broken and it's unclear and you can't quite follow what's being stated, uh, especially if it's coming from a quote unquote reputable place, you need to be leery of this. Um, One of the major problems that I had with the YouTube, the Yahoo one, was that they were advising seniors to invest in precious metals. Now, is it a problem to invest in precious metals? Absolutely not. It's a good idea. Now, sometimes the information that's told is incorrect. And one of the problems is when they're talking about buying high or they're talking about investing in a specific item. For instance, self directed individual retirement accounts where they are the sponsors, or it's an ad taken out, and the one that's listed below is an ad that's paid for by one of these companies. Well, how do you know you're actually investing in that area? How do you know that that is actually going to where it's supposed to be, where they say it's supposed to be going? One of the problems is that senior citizens, again, we have different issues, right? There's potentially failing issues, there could be health issues, they could be alone. Yeah, gold foil, gold plated. Those things happen a lot. You'll find that when you see things like 999 fine mil, or 14 mil silver, or 24 mil gold, right? Where it's people are like, oh my god, it's 24. They instantaneously think that it's something else without it being stated. One of the defunct principles of advertising is you don't give all the information. You let them insinuate that it is something. You tell them that it's rare, but you don't tell them how rare it is. You let them develop their own opinion of how rare it is. Um, why is it rare? Right? What is the definition of rare? And things like that are utilized a lot to manipulate and deceive people. There are things that you can do to protect people. We're going to get into this, but I want to go over again, just looking at some of these items. Um, when you're looking at gold coins, go to go to reputable sources. If you have grandparents, if you have parents, and they're looking at investing, um, talk to them about, hey, if you receive telephone calls from people that are saying that their investment whatnot, tell them that you need to talk with us first, right? Tell them that you need to get our approval. If they get angry and scream and yell at you and they say that you're making a mistake, that's usually a good identifier that you're dealing with either a fraudster or a scammer. Scammers will utilize anger and fear. Oh my God, you're so stupid. Why are you doing that? Oh, no, 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 you're going to hurt yourself. Don't do that. Don't do that. And they pull back and they're like, I'm sorry, I don't mean to do this. This is a great tool in the scamming realm. And you'll see this. And if you watch these scamming channels that they talk about taking scammers down, you'll see that quite frequently they call these people ignorant and foolish and stupid. And it's the scammer trying to make them feel below themselves, trying to make them get into this protection mode, trying to get them to look at something that it's a scam, but they're trying to manipulate them, right? So they'll utilize harsh, irritating, agitating, angry, screaming, yelling. They'll use all these emotions to get them to fall prey to this particular scam. So it's really important that you teach your parents or you teach your grandparents or you talk to them about when they receive phone calls where they say that there's an investment thing, or hey, this is your bank. It's like, you know what, I appreciate this. Thank you for letting me know. I need to get with my grandson. I need to get with my grandfather. I need to get or my grandson, my daughter, my son, whatever, and talk to them about this before we talk. Leave me a number and I'll call you back. And it's important that we do this. A lot of times you're going to get places like Social Security scams. And these Social Security scams, people need to understand Social Security will never call you and say that you need to give them money or you need to give them an account or, hey, we had a problem with your account. We need you to reset this up. They'll send you a letter on letterhead and they'll say, at your convenience, contact us. Um, QR codes, right? If they people get QR codes in the mail, never scan a QR code. It doesn't matter if it comes in something that you buy. Never scan a QR code because even if it's for instructions on how to put something together. QR codes are frequently utilized to take and get your information and lead to basically deceptive style processes, right? So you want to be careful with those kind of things. Um, the websites. You want to make sure that websites that senior citizens are going to are good and just. So make sure they have things like If they're going to be utilizing their computer, make sure they have virus protection, make sure they have Trojan protection, make sure they have, and I don't mean Trojan protection like the other one, although, seniors do that too. So, they need to protect themselves as well. But they need to make sure that their computers have protections in place because there are lots of things that people will utilize to deceive and manipulate senior citizens. So it's really important. The other thing that's really important, and I've learned this from Jack Young, coins making sense. What's going on, Kevin? Merry Christmas, my friend. Thank you so much for being here. Papa Yorks, Rica, thank you so much for coming in. Tobacco Row, I like 585, 14 solid carried gold. Yeah. So again, you'll have to know what those terminologies are in order to do that. I'm really not looking at chat. I have a lot of information I want to go over. So I'll be looking at chat here in just a moment and I'll start asking some questions or asking you guys to ask some questions. But it's good to see you guys. Thank you so much for coming in. So one of the best things you can do is report scams. Now, there's a gentleman by the name of Jack Young. So if you guys are into numismatics, many of you know who Jack Young is. One thing that Jack Young does is he goes out to these eBay sites and these things like that and identifies people that would be scammers trying to sell fakes or counterfeits or things of that nature. Gotta take a drink. Sorry. Um, and he will actually go to these sites and he will report them. It's important that you do report to people like the Consumer Protection Division. I'm going to enter some information down below. If you want to contact protection, you can do this by contacting this telephone number. This will be a consumer protection telephone number. If you think that your parents or grandparents have been a victim of fraud, you can contact the Enforcement Consumer Protection Division or the CFTC and let them know. You can look at various things. You can contact the Federal Trade Association or the FCC and report that information. So it's really important if you think you've been scammed or you think that you're receiving scam related information, especially targeted at seniors, make sure you're notifying that company. So if you receive something that says it's from the Social Security Administration, contact the scams at the Social Security Administration and actually send that information to them. Grab that information, take photos of it, and submit tickets. Make sure you're reporting this type of information because there are so many scams out there this year. If you get online and you just Google scams for senior citizens, you're going to find there's millions of them. And I mean millions of them. They happen all over the place, targeted primarily out of places like India, China. India is one of the biggest ones. It's a huge major issue from there. Many people are aware of some of the things that happen, but they're not the only place that happens. Korea has groups that scam, and there's also scams that are generated within your home nation. So it's making sure that you're looking at those particular items and taking investment. Now, what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to make this big and I'm going to go in and I'm going to pull up a couple items where we look at various gold. So I'm just going to do gold investment scams in 2024. And I'm going to pull out, so this is the FCAA. This is information I'm going to actually, this might be too long to put into chat. I'm going to put this in here. I recommend that you all do this. This is the FCAA. This is some of the the most scams that come across in 2024. Some of the things that you need to do. I'm going to go over a couple of these. I am not going to be reading this all. I just want to go over some of these items. Imposter scams. Imposter scams are one of the biggest things that you can look at. The use of AI. I did a story not too long ago about the positive and negative aspects of AI and how it affects the coin community. You're going to be looking at things like, hey, grandma, or hey, grandpa, it's so and so, and I'm in jail. I really need help. I need bail. Or one that happened, it actually happened to my family. Um, my stepson's grandmother, obviously it's from his dad's mom, received a telephone call saying that my son was involved in an accident where he hit a pregnant lady. and he was in jail. He needed to get bail money, and he's like, "Well, is he okay?" It's like, "Well, yeah, I'm fine." But the way that the scam started is, "It's, hey, grandma, it's me." It's like, "Is this?" And then gave his name. It's like, "Yeah, it's me," and then started using the name. So the scam didn't start by stating, and I can get my wife up here. She's the one who actually took the call from his grandmother when she said, "Well, hold on, I don't have any money right now. I need to contact his mom. Give me your number and I'll call you back." And so they gave a number, and obviously it wasn't a correct number because as soon as she got off the call, they went to call back and the number was disconnected. But they utilized my son's name. They didn't give the name, his grandmother did. And so it wasn't actually the utilization of his information. Now, did that happen? Yes, it's happened since. But what they did is they've reached out now that they had that information, they've reached out, they've grabbed that, found out who that was, watched videos, and then next time they tried to contact, guess whose voice they used? They used his voice. Now, this time she recognized the information. She knew the call. She knew the type of call that it was, and she recalled and reported the telephone number. Unfortunately, they scammed the number and they used a number that didn't exist. But now she's on some list somewhere of people who potentially could be fooled. So now she received a telephone call in my son's voice. And that is a major problem. Modern day pickpockets. Yeah, exactly. Um, so the utilization, the advent of AI to do this is something that's real. It's something that's serious. If you ever get a telephone call that it sounds like it's coming from, I know this sounds harsh and I know this sounds critical, but say, hey, you know what? I'm going to call you back on your own phone. Well, my phone's dead. Where are you calling from? Okay. Well, then I need to, what store are you from? I'm going to call that store and I'm going to have them get you on the telephone. You need to make sure that you do these things. Gatita, I'm streaming through a different stream right now. I'm not utilizing my other one. My redeem is not going to show up on this one. So I apologize for the redeem. But again, these are things. The other one is going to be here is investment scams. Now, we've talked about investment scams. Silver and gold are going to be huge ones, looking at different things like excuse me, my nose is itching like crazy. Looking at different platforms like counterfeit coins, understanding the terminology that's used, copy, replica, fake, counterfeit, faux. FAUX is a huge one that a lot of people don't understand when they're talking about faux gold. That's basically fake gold, fool's gold. Understanding those languages, making sure you understand what's going on. But again, it's important to get with your parents, important to get with grandparents, it's important to get with aunts and uncles and the other seniors that you know. Hey, Miss Coin Crew, what's going on? And you know, pair them with companies, whether they be local to you or whether they be YouTube channels that can look at information, give them information, give people, especially our seniors, good resources in which to buy quality goods. Whether that be gold, silver, whether that be investment grade bullion, or whether that be numismatic collectible items, we need to make sure we're establishing good sources and good connectivity for our seniors. This is something else, and we've talked about this in various channels. You'll see this. It doesn't matter if you're talking about Salivate, Silver Seeker, Yankee. One thing that's really important when you're listing out stuff, whether it be your own stack or whether it be for them, that you provide them telephone numbers to trusted sources. The telephone numbers to trusted sources are people that they can call should they receive a telephone call like this, where they can call and say, "Hey, I received this telephone call. I want to know. I want you to be on the call with me next time I take this call." Or, "Hey, I'm going to be calling them back. I'd like you to be on a call with me." So list telephone numbers. Somebody that's good with finance. Somebody who really genuinely understands finance. Gold, silver, numismatics. Have a coin channel or a person, whether it be live coin Q&A, whether it be a coin channel that has a brick and mortar shop like Coin Crew, whether it be a channel like mine who has connections and resources to those people. Have somebody listed, have a telephone number so that you can get in contact with somebody should you receive one of these items that you think it's a scam, make sure you have somebody always in your back pocket that you can reach out to. If something should happen and you have a stack, you always want to have a list of contact people that can help you or help your family if you're not there. Understand what information you have so you don't get scammed by some of these companies that say, hey, if you had a loved one pass away, and remember that there are people who can help you. If you're looking for somebody, you have coin shops, and I had this happen with a friend of mine who contacted me after their father had passed away and they left some stuff. She had called some local coin shops and they had offered bare minimum money. So I called Keith at Coin Crew and said, hey, here's some of the items that I want to go through. She doesn't want to ship it. I've got to find something local, but I need to find some general price points, something that's good. And he gave me some general ranges. I took it to a couple coin shops here in the area in which I am at, got some information from them, found a good source, and was able to get her good money for this collection. Her local coin shop that she took it to offered her about $2,200. When it was all said and done, the coin shop that I got here in San Antonio gave her about 57, almost $6,000 for that same collection. So again, do your due diligence. Have people in pocket that you can trust. Make sure you find those trusted sources. And if you don't have them, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel and let me know what we can do. And we'll connect you to people. We'll help you find coin channels in or around your area or connect you to people online who are trustworthy, people that I would trust my stack or my investment information in. And we'll get you in contact with them and then they can help you find people to assist in that. Okay. Now, I am not a financial expert, so I'm most likely not going to be the person who's going to be giving you the information. I'll be a source or a resource for you to connect you to people who will. So I want you to be aware of that, but that offer stands. So again, if you guys haven't done so and you're watching this, please double tap on your screen so you smash that like. And if you're a new subscriber, I'm so close to 5,000 subs. Do me a favor, hit that subscription button. That would really help out. If you're enjoying the content, if you're not enjoying the content, feel free not to do so. But it is free to you, but it really does help the channel out. Another one of the major issues that happen are debt collection scams. Hey, you owe us money. I don't even remember paying that. Oh, and this has got to be due. It's got to happen right now. I know we've all experienced that. Earlier, somebody said car insurance. That's a huge one. Car insurance scams or extended warranties. But one that I want to talk about. This is one that my oldest son got busted with, and that is Zelle. Now, Zelle, PayPal, Apple Pay, all of these have scams associated with them. And this is how those particular things run. Hey, Tiger gifted 5 memberships. John, Drosky, Casey Stacker, Cash Money, Jesse Krukenberg all got gifted memberships from Tiger Stacker. Tiger Stacker, thank you so much for that. I definitely appreciate your friendship. Merry Christmas, brother, as well as gifting those. So much. That's really cool. They lost all your info. We're sorry. Scammers this time of year are nonstop. Chad, that's exactly right. That's one reason that I'm doing this Christmas special is because I want people to understand that, I mean, they've already been happening, but throughout the holiday, throughout the New Year's, this stuff continues to happen, especially as gifts have been given. People are going to be trying to scam people out of the money and the gifts that they've been given, especially within this. One way they do that is Zelle scams, some of the other money transfer scams. Now, I'm going to talk about my son and something that happened with him. He got a call at 2 o'clock in the morning and saying, hey, we just found out that your bank has been hacked. We've got a problem. We need to transfer money to a new account. Here's the new account number. Unfortunately, we can't take money out of that because it's been account. We need you to transfer the money from this account to your new account. Here's the number. Here's the route. You can do it one of 2 ways. You can do it through Cash App. You can do it through Apple Pay, or you can do it through here. Yep, Miss Coin Crew. That is exactly how his whole thing started. So he's like, oh my God. Now he's kind of half asleep. He's not quite awake. And he's like, oh my God. So he gets on and he transfers money to Apple Pay. and he transfers it to the new account. Looks like a good account, same general makeup, same general numbers as his bank account was. Transfers the money, and as soon as he transfers it, the telephone call hangs up. His money's gone. He tries to get a hold of Apple Pay. Unfortunately, it's a voluntary transfer. He just transferred all of his money. They completely wiped him out. These things happen. Now, this isn't something that happens just to senior citizens. And I told him, I'm like, dude, they're a bank. The bank doesn't need you to transfer money to a new account. They just do it themselves, especially if your account, what they do is they put a lock on it. They're going to have you come in, they're going to have you sign for a new account. They're never going to call you, and they're never going to have you transfer it to another source like Zelle or Apple Pay. Now, one of the things that, and again, this one here specifically says Zelle because Zelle has been utilized. My credit union will not allow us to use Zelle because of the a number of scams that are out there that particularly utilize the Zelle. But it's not just Zelle. Apple Pay is a big one because the issue with these pay items, one of the best ones is PayPal. Unfortunately, PayPal has fees, and it doesn't matter where you transfer it. If you're doing a business style transaction, you're going to be paying a fee. And if you're talking about transferring a couple $1,000s, that's a pretty hefty fee to pay, whether it be for you that's paying the fee or if it's the business that's accepting the fee. This is one of the things that you've got to protect yourself with. But find those things. And again, there are a lot of people who do business with friends or family, and that's great and all. But if you're doing official transfer of money, you should be utilizing your business account, right? Now, I'm not telling people that those that want to use friends and family are scams. I've got a lot of friends that utilize it. We always transfer friends and family simply because there are major fees associated with this. But if you're going to be buying something or you're going to be doing something, you need that consumer protection. So be utilizing it. Even if that means you pay the extra 4% fee to do so, protection. Now, work it out with the other person. If you know and trust the other person, uh, that's totally up to you. I'm not going to tell you to do that. I send stuff, friends and family, all the time to people, not a problem. But there are sometimes if I'm buying goods, especially if it's for, and I'm going to show you an angry warrior pour. This is absolutely fabulous. This is something that he's done. These are quite expensive. And if you're to buy these things, there's a hefty price for it. I will pay the $4 fee to pay for those particular items because I want to not only protect me, I want to protect them. Because if something happens to that particular item, I want them to be able to get their money back, or I want to be able to get my money back. This is why it's important that you pay for insurance when you're shipping and always do signed documents. Tiger Stacker was called by a fake FBI agent. That's another one that's on here as well, right? Social Security agents, FBI agents, law enforcement agencies. It's a really big one. The important thing and what Tiger did, him and I have talked about this, was hey, you know what? I'm going to have you call me back, or I'm going to need your number so I can call you back. Can you tell me what office you're in? Yes, I'm at such and such office. Okay, what's the address? Get the information and then contact that office. Do you have this officer on board? Yes. Do you have a case out for me? No, sir. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Whatever. Contact that office directly. Here's the thing. Go to the official sites. Don't always necessarily go to the first Google item that you see because again, the first Google item you can simply pay for Google ads. So be careful when you're doing that. Make sure you're tracking and tracing those items. If you get a call from a store, hang up, call the store back. Said, "Hey, this is so and so. Did you call me?" No, no, we don't have any record of any telephone call from you. Okay, well, I just received a call from you. Oh, there are scams going out there. Let them know what was going on. If you still have the number, make sure you give it to them. I do this. I have gotten a call from the Department of Veteran Affairs. Hi, sir. How you doing? I'm good. We have a telephone call. I didn't say Siri. I said sir. You screwball. Um, okay, let's turn off this. I don't want her to call me. Hey, Tiger, I just got your message. Sorry, but I didn't see that until just now. I don't want her to come back up if I say that again. But I contacted the Department of Veteran Affairs and I said, I just received a telephone call from your office. They were asking for to give me some information. They asked for my social security number. And the guy started laughing. He said, "Well, that was me." And I was like, "Oh, well, great. Do me a favor. Never call me and tell me that I need to give you my private information." It's like, "Well, sir, we have to do this." It's fine. What you do is you call me and say, "Hi, this is the Department of Veteran Affairs. I need you to call me back at this number. Here it's the number. This is the extension. Call me through the normal channels." Do the research because I'm never going to give my birthday. I'm never going to give my social. I'm never going to give my identification card through my driver's license or something like that over the telephone to somebody who calls me. Never. Doesn't matter what they are. I don't care if they're my doctor. I don't know. I don't care if I'm expecting a telephone call from my doctor. I will never give that information to them over the telephone unless I call them. There are certain protections you need to put into place to make sure that you do that. Oh, yeah. So I, yeah, that's exactly what I do, Chad. This is what Chad says. Chad says, even if my doctor office calls me from a different phone number, I guess I will. Yeah. So here's what you do. You look. This is what I do with whether I'm calling my doctor, whether I'm calling my finance guy. What doesn't matter which it is. It's like I'm going to be calling you, and I do this with my medical appointments all the time. When I schedule an appointment, you are to text me and let me know that I need to call you. And this is what the text needs to state. This is the Department of Veteran Affairs. You have an appointment on such and such time frame. Invisible River Ranch just gifted 10 memberships. Gary Lee, Savage Stacker, JC likes Pam, Johnny, Paul Casper, just a dude. Outstanding. Deep Stacker, Cricket 208, Martin's Treasure, Marcy Collins, all received gifted memberships from Invisible River Ranch. Invisible River Ranch, thank you so much for the gifted memberships. I greatly appreciate you. Much love. Merry Christmas. Thanks so much. But I will put down for the VA, I will say, I need you guys to text me and tell me that I need to call you. I do not want you to give me a telephone number to call you back at. I will call you through the appointment line and you tell me that it's such and such department, what I need to contact. I will call them through the telephone number that I have because if you call me from an unknown number, I'm not going to answer it. And I actually had to contact the board that's there at the VA and say, look, I have missed appointments because they don't follow the procedure that's in my record. I need people to follow me because I've received scam calls pretending to be the Department of Veteran Affairs trying to get my access information. They want my birthday, they want my service number, they want my social security number, they want identifiable information, sometimes medical information, because they want me to give them information. It's like that's great, but I'm going to call you and give you the information. I'm not going to allow you to call me and give it. I'm not going to give that information away. The same needs to happen when you're talking about securities and finance. Whether you're talking about your investment portfolio, no problem. Let's say that you work with a company like Charles Schwab, and your investment person calls you and says, "Hey, I want to talk about investment." That's great, no problem. You know what? I'm going to call the company back. I'm going to ask if they have this particular agent, and then they can connect me back to you. Because I want you guys to be protected. I want to make sure that your investments are safe. I want to make sure your money's safe. And Tiger and I talked a little bit the other day about crypto, some of the information with crypto and wallets and keeping your stuff safe. This is why it's important that you have things like virus protection. Make sure you have Trojan protection. Make sure you have items on your computer that check for bots and spyware. You're going to want to make sure you protect yourself. And make sure that your family members, your senior citizens in your families, your parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, things of that nature, if they have computer systems, make sure their computers are up to date. Make sure their computers, I know it's a pain to have to go over there and sit down and update and make sure their virus protection's up to date, and make sure those things are into place. We're talking about computer systems. Microsoft doesn't give a rat's butt about you. Microsoft will never call you. The only time you'll ever hear from Microsoft is if you've been stealing from them and you'll hear a call from an attorney. Microsoft tech support will never call you, ever, ever, ever. They don't care about you. Apple tech support will never, ever call you. iPhone support, there's no such freaking thing as iPhone support. It's Apple Care. They will never call you. They don't care about you. So protect people and understand that there are things that have to be put into place and there are things that you need to look at to make sure the sanctity of the senior citizens that are here. There's romance calls. Now, romance calls are one of the things that I think that's funny. But again, they were talking, Miss Coin Crew mentioned text and phishing emails. Emails and texts are really important. Scams, employment, online shopping websites, all those different things. And again, when you look at it, there's some questions that you want to ask. Okay, McAfee antivirus. McAfee Invisible, that's one of them, but there's a number of them that are good. There's you have Norton, you have McAfee, you have Kapernersky. How do you say that? Can't think of that. Can't remember how to say that. Make sure you utilize something like a VPN, okay, virtual private network, so that your information is held private. That's really important, especially when you do certain things. You're going to want to make sure if you're shopping online, make sure you're utilizing a VPN. Protect your identity, protect your computer's exact location and whereabouts. Um, that's probably good advice. Don't get drunk and do any shopping. Spending money and doing stuff like that, right? There are certain things you can do, not necessarily with race channels, but just in general, right? It's not good to use substances and shop. If you're going to browse, watch funny cat videos. Do something silly like that. But yeah, substances can also put you in a serious situation, especially late night. Don't be watching late night shopping channels. Late night shopping channels often will rip you off. Again, these are meant for people with insomnia, people who are tired, have trouble sleeping, or maybe they've been out drinking and something like that. So be careful and be leery of those. But there are the top 10 things that are listed here. And these top 10 things are things that I do want to go over with you. Who are they and what do they say? Are they an organization that is one of the ones that we talked about? Make sure you're identifying those. Why are they calling you? Is it a problem? Is it something suspicious like, hi, this is, Jean Michael, and I am from Visa, but you don't have a Visa card. You don't even have a debit card. That's a potential problem. Or, hey, your life insurance is about to expire, but you've never actually set up a life insurance policy. You get a telephone call that says, hey, do you remember your recent accident? No. Oh man, that's a problem. You don't remember the accident you were in a couple weeks ago? I wasn't in an accident a couple weeks ago. Oh, we might need to get you some medical care. You were actually involved. You were with your friend. You were in an accident. You really don't remember these things. Pay attention to these. Look for those that are fishing for information. What is their tone? We talked about that earlier in the stream. Do they get irate with you? Are they yelling and screaming at you? Professional businesses have this law that they are prevented from being obtuse with you. Now, we joke about obtuse when we're talking about coins. You'll hear us say this periodically. It's kind of an inside joke. But if they are being really ignorant and really rude with you, there are protections put in place for people that are calling on the telephone, not only for the companies that are there, but for personal. I can't call and scream at a company and use profanity. I can actually be held liable for it. If somebody's doing that, it's usually a pretty good idea that they're either trying to get information or it's a scam. Again, they say this very clearly, and I'm going to utilize the exact question. High pressure sales tactics, pushing urgent timeframes, or threatening you usually results in being a scam. So if you have somebody yelling and screaming at you, then I want you to be very leery of that. Make sure you're informing senior citizens of this. Make sure that they understand exactly what's happening in those regards and make sure you're tracking those particular items. I'm going to pull this over here real quick because I want to pull up something else. Are they asking you to transfer or move monies? Now, we've talked about this before. This is something that you definitely want to be on the lookout. And again, folks, if you're not a subscriber, consider subscribing. Double tap that screen so you get the like. I really would appreciate it. Um, but are they trying to get information from you? Are they trying to use things? And we talked about this earlier. The fear tactics, emotions are a big way of getting people to offset themselves. Are they pretending to be somebody? Are they trying to get your to move your money through sources that you normally wouldn't use them through? Looking at trying to move things through the Zelle or the PayPal or the Apple Pay, things of that. Have they told you don't tell anybody about this? Hey, this is between you and I. We need to keep this pretty quiet. Hey, let's keep this on the down low. Not everybody needs to know that I'm offering you this deal. Hey, don't be telling anybody that you made a mistake. I don't want you to be embarrassed. Um, hey, I'm going to bring in my boss and we're going to cut you such a good deal. But you can't be telling your friends and family about this. This deal is solely specifically designed for you. Hey, if you go to law enforcement, then we're going to sue you, right? If you hear these kind of things again, watch out. And again, if they tell you, they don't tell you who you are if you ask, and they've refused to share their identity. Again, those are items that we're doing this. The last one, again, utilization of fear tactics is going to be, if you don't do this, we're going to have you arrested. Tiger just mentioned not long ago that one of the scams, one of the issues that was utilized with them was the fact that this was the FBI. We were calling to inform you that you needed to share information. There's a fine. We have a warrant out for your arrest. If you don't pay this fee, we're going to come and we're going to take your home. We're going to take your stuff. Again, fear tactics, the utilization, acting as law enforcement. Be leery of those. Um, if law enforcement does call you for some reason and you need to verify their authenticity, ask them what office they're at, tell them you're going to call the office and ask for them, and you reach out and you let them know that um, you're going to be you're going to contact them back directly. Don't take the telephone number from them. Go find the telephone number and call them back. If they're actually an officer of the law, they will respect that and they will do that. Let's see. Tobacco says, "Oh, you're talking about cleaning coins? Yeah, don't be cleaning coins. Merry Christmas, Yappy Chappy. Hope you're doing well. Thank you so much um, for being here today. I definitely appreciate you coming in and being here. All right, so let's go through here really quickly. I'm going to pull up a couple of them. I'm going to go to chat. So first off, I want to ask if anybody's been targeted or if anybody has any channels. Now, I do not want you guys listing YouTube channels unless they are known scam channels like things like Coins of Rosie or stuff like that. But I want, if you hear information you know of ones, let's pull them up. We'll kind of talk about some of those, but let's be let's be a little bit thoughtful about this. Um, and right, let's be careful what's being called out here. If you want to do this, so one of the ones that I'm going to be pulling up here is I'm going to be looking at gold bars for cheap, right? These are different search criteria that you can do and look for information. Again, come through here, look for different ones. I always go here. Oh, this one makes me laugh. All right, so the first site we're going to be pulling up is this 1 pound bar gold for making jewelry. Let's pull this up. Let's see what we get here. Oh, this is horrible. Assuming it's going to come up. Come on, is it going to work? I may have too much stuff up. I'm going to have to close. Okay, I want you guys to look at this. This is almost comical. I'm closing some of these other ones. Okay, folks. Yeah, I mean, come on, really? 39.95 each for a 1 pound gold bar. Uh oh, you can buy three or more for $33. Yes, 1 pound gold. Absolutely cool. Ladies and gentlemen, obviously this is something that is definitely a problem. So they show you that this is 1.5 inches by three, and then it's almost 1 inch thick. So first off, yeah, AI gold. Yes, AI gold. AI is artificial. This is artificial gold, right? So again, understanding the the money here. You're talking about 1 pound gold, so you're talking about 16 ounces of gold. An ounce of gold right now is, $2,700. So for a 1 pound gold, you're probably looking at about $60,000, somewhere in that area. Um, so again, yeah, hold on, I'm ordering that. Starika says, but again, so what? It's important to come down here and look at the item specifics. A brand new, unused, undamaged. It's an original packaging. Where the packaging is should be the same. Well, it's found in a retail store unless the item is handmade or packaging at the manufacturer, not retail packaging. It's inspired. It's unprinted box or plastic bag. The seller shortlisting details in full. That was the description, the item specifics. That is the condition. Number one, it didn't make sense at all. But come down here. So watch how it's made. And they show this little video. It can show you how it's made. This is a copper alloy. It contains no gold. The temperature melt is 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. It's a 1 pound bullion bar, 95% copper and 5% aluminum, giving it a beautiful gold color. Right now, why is this important? Well, it's important because up here they say it's a gold pound. It's a 1 pound bar, right? So hand poured alloy. Well, is gold an alloy? It is, um, depending upon if it's 14, 18, 24 karat. So again, you want to be very careful. Look at the descriptions when doing this. If it's too good to be true, it usually is. Again, so it's looking at some of these items and just making sure we check this. Gold bars, global trade. Let's go check out and see what global trade has here for $1. See what they come in here. Global trade. Minimum quantity, 1 kilogram, right? It's Demong gold. They don't list any information, pricing, it's not available. You can inquire now. I would be very, very careful with clicking on something like this. Um, Again, I would be very, very leery about looking at something that has gold bars. They got gold bars in all shapes and sizes. Stainless steel, global trade company. I'd be very, very leery about this. They do all sorts. They have lithium or roasted coffee beans. So they have everything. I would be very, very careful here, especially when you're looking at the particular item saying that's $1 for a gold bar. Very careful with sites like this. Kilogram bullion post. I would, look at these very carefully. Here, pre-owned 100 mils. This is a great example of a fake bar. Okay, this is a fake bar. This is some of the language that you need to be careful with when you're looking at some of these things. And again, folks, it's important to teach people some of these items when you're looking at these particular elements. Look at these 100 mils, 9.5 gold. Mils means how thick it is. So we're talking about a gold plated, right? They're talking about 1 troy ounce. Um, but it's 100 mils, 9 fine gold. Clad. It tells you that it's clad. It tells you that it's not a real coin. But again, if you're not really paying attention to what's happening, you're seeing fine gold clad. Make sure you understand, right? Be teaching senior citizens that these are not genuine gold bars. It's important that we talk to people about what's technically, if it's called Nordic gold, but no gold whatsoever, it's just tin, aluminum, and zinc. Yeah, again, it's one of those things that it's important to understand the language, right? This is why I talked about terminology. it's important to share the terminology and understand what's going on here. Again, they have this in the nice case. They have 1 ounce, right? Gold bullion, right? So when you look at it here, it specifically states gold bullion. It's one ounce, right? And then again, $9.39 each. Now they do in the description. They already said that it was copper. They're talking about it's an estate liquidation. Sorry, no terms accepted, right? Uh, let's look at this. We ship first class, mail by default, pay within 4 days of the auction closing. God bless our troops. Semper Fidelis. Again, a call to um, something that somebody may have loyalty to, right? These are common ways that people get scammed. But do they actually list that there is no, it's gold plated? Well, they do it right here. Gold clad, 100 mils. So it might be an ounce of copper. They don't tell you what the actual metal is. It does say, realize it's not solid gold. So it's really important that you look at the descriptions in some of these because, number one, if they don't do it, if they say that it's fake and you buy it, then it's buyer beware. Caveat emptor. You'll hear me say that a lot. But if they don't tell you that it's fake and they sell it, this is where the crime comes into place. So a lot of times you'll see some of these places, you'll see some of this information, and they simply just list what is. It appears to be real. It appears to be authentic, but they just list it in the description as mills or 0.99 fine plated gold or faux gold, or again, you talk about Nordic gold or something like that. So be very leery of the description, be very leery about it, and make sure you're reading the description. But it's really important that we inform parents, grandparents, and things of that. So when we're buying stuff, even if they're buying for us, make sure they have a trusted source. So make sure that you're connecting them. And it doesn't necessarily have to be with people within um, my community. I don't have to be your sole source for this. But again, if I can help you in some sort of fashion, if I can guide you and connect you with people who are reliable, who are dependable, then that is really important. All right, folks. Well, what I want to do is I'm not going to be on much longer. It is Christmas. I want to just make sure that I shared some of this. I'm going to turn on chat. I'm going to turn this on here so that I can see this now. It's not distracting. It'll be down here below. So now you'll be able to see some stuff here. So I'm going to pull this up and I'm going to be looking at chat now. And if you have questions, I want you to feel free to ask. If there are things that you want to ask about gold, if you have a certain ad that you have, or you have something that you want to send it, feel free to email it to me. I've got the chat up here and I'm going to be looking at it. I'll ask any questions. I'm going to only keep this open here for about 5 or 6 more minutes. And then I'm going to get back to my family for Christmas. And I know there's other people are going to be streaming. Please feel free to go check that out. Invisible River Ranch says there are some crazy people out there. There are some crazy people out there, but there are also people out there who want to deceive you, that want to take your money. I personally work entirely too hard to give my money to people who scam. I want to get really good, solid, nice stuff like this. This came from Angry Warrior. This is an absolute beautiful piece. This is a custom pour. We've got some people in our community who do some amazing work. This is 4 ounces of 9 fines silver. Again, absolutely beautiful piece. We've got some people in our community who do amazing pours like this. Angry Warrior is just one of many tigers in here. He's trying to learn how to do it. We got Supreme Ginger Stacker. We've got Red. We got Hope. Man, Tamako, I can't remember his name. Lot of really cool people doing this. Buying copy coin for decoration is not a bad thing as long as you know it's a copy. Tobacco Row, buying a copy. A lot of people don't necessarily know that the copy coin that they're buying isn't necessarily not a genuine coin. There are people we've heard, and I'll see if I can find this, where a gentleman came in. They thought they had been buying really good coins, um, really trying to help their family stuff out. Let me pull this up real quick. It was um, trying to see if I can find this. It was one done by Silver Seeker, and I'm not finding it. I'll have to find it. I'll put it in the description down below. But Silver Seeker actually worked with somebody who brought in a whole bunch of old coins, and these old coins were ones that they had bought years ago, and some of them had copy on them, some of them had replica on them, some of them had a C on them, some of them did not. But they were supposed to be gold, and there were hundreds of thousands of dollars expected to be in this type of thing. And what ended up happening is they were all gold replicas. You could buy them online for 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks. The person who had done this had spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on these. And unfortunately, they had to go back and let their family member know that they weren't what they thought they were. Um, I was sent an image not too long ago of 100 ounce silver bar that actually wasn't 100 ounces at all. It had lead tubes put all the way through the item, and when they tested it on an initial test, it was right. But they did the sigma that you can actually connect it, and it reads all the way through the metal, and it read good in some areas and it read bad in others. So they actually cut the bar. And when they cut the bar, they found that there was lead bars inside this 100 ounce silver bar. And again, they spent way, way, way too much money on this particular thing, and unfortunately, they just didn't know that they weren't able to do this. Tiger Stacker with another $5 super chat. Let's get Frosty to 5K, and he will got poured silver winner's choice, including a 5 ounce 999 fine silver. Oh, folks, that's awesome. Um, I need 25 subs. Is it 25? No, 26 subs to 5K. So Tiger Stacker just offered a 5 ounce silver pour. If you guys can get me to 5,000, that's really nice, Tiger. I appreciate that. Um, that's really cool. Let's see. What do we got in here? Certain years, our kinds are always copies. Fake City. Yeah. But again, there's a number of different things. Let's see. FFN, family first. That's correct. Yeah, family always first. Agatita, that's true. Uh, yeah, there's. Let's see. I'm just trying to read through. Frosty, look down at the sub number. My sub number right now is 9,000 or 4,974. That's what I have on my sub list. Um, so I need 26 more. Let's see. If I could sub twice, I would have. Yeah, Darren, no problem. Not a big deal. Um, Gatita asks, how can you know what's going on with this? Oh, well, you know what? Let me shift this over. I hate it when that happens. Gatita asks this, how can you know what a piece of jewelry is made of if it has no markings and no tester? You'll have to take it to a jewelry shop. Usually, somewhere on it, on the housing, the clip, somewhere there's going to be stamped 14K. There's going to be some sort of maker's mark. There's going to be some listing that tells you. A lot of times, if it's not stamped, probably not genuine. So that's one way to do it. Um, don't 5 US Frosty. Don't know. Don't tell people. I'm not sure what's going on here. Hold on just a second. Oh, Tiger Stacker just dropped another 5 on. Let me pull up a different chat window because the one here I'm not seeing the super chats. There we go. Frosty, don't tell people I have lead bars in the. Oh yeah, don't. That's not funny, Tiger. Tiger doesn't do that. Tech X-ray gun will tell you, but it costs buku bucks. Yeah, so if you're gonna check the quality of your jewelry, you really need to take it to a trusted source. But my recommendation is that you do not ever If you take it to somewhere, unless you absolutely know them, never let them take it away from you. Have them bring out their piece of equipment and test it. They do have guns where they can point at it. They can tell you, as long as the carrots of the gems as well. They can tell you whether the gems are fake or whether they're authentic. But they have portable tools. Don't ever let them take it into the back. Don't let them keep it overnight, especially if you have something that is being gifted by somebody. You want to make sure that um, they do that in front of you. Don't ever let somebody take that, walk that away from you. And the company says, "Hey, well, we're going to check this. We're going to need to hold this overnight." Don't do that. If you take it to an appraiser, uh, again, try to do it to where the appraiser can appraise it there while you're active. If they want to do it, schedule time with the appraiser. Don't ever leave jewelry for any length of time unless you're taking it to reputable dealers. Again, and those you need to find somebody who is a certified gemologist and make sure that they have um, they're protected. Angie Crowell, what's going on? Thanks so much for coming in here. Again, make sure you're protecting yourself. But if you're going to take any kind of jewelry or things like that, take it to a trusted source. If you're talking about silver and gold in bullion form, you can take it to a local coin shop. You can also take it to a jewelry place, but make sure that they're doing it in front of you. It's important that they test that in front of you. Have their bring their Sigma, their machine out, and have them scan accordingly. Um, you can also look at, and Tiger's done, uh, yeah, reputable jewelry. That's exactly Silver Sleuth. A reputable jewelry company will do that for free. Um, but again, if you look at some of the news, what's happening in China, Chinese are huge on gold. It's happening in India as well, where there's lots and lots of fake jewelry happening, where they're doing hollow jewelry, but they're not. They're utilizing tests. There are tests that you can do. There are testing kits that you can do to test your metals. You can do that. Remember that if you're utilizing a test on a numismatic coin, that any kind of acid or etching test, any kind of scratching test does damage the coin. So do not do that on numismatic items. You can damage the coin. If you're going to be testing whether something is authentic, there's a couple different methods you can use. Obviously, the cheapest one is going to be the sound test. You can do a ping test. Now, you don't necessarily have to hold it with a ping tester, but a ping tester, they're fairly cheap. You can get those. You can also do the slide test if you have a magnet. You can check and see if they're magnetic. I have um, a very strong rare earth magnet here that is always available. So whenever I get something in, I always test it with a magnet. But remember that gold, silver, and copper are all um, uh, they're all non-magnetic, but they all have the same general magnetic property, in which even though they are not magnetic, they are dimagnetic. Dimagnetic means that it'll slow through, so it creates a field around it as it's sliding down. And even though the magnet won't stick to it, it will slow it down. So you check the slow rate, whereas something like zinc will slide straight through. You can do the specific gravity test. Tiger Stacker with a $10 super chat. So much. I appreciate you. That's a lot on super chats. I appreciate you doing that, bud. Thank you so much. Um, Tiger says, take to jewelry. They will use the key test. You can link on that. Utilize XRF. They were talking about the X-ray earlier. That is extremely important. Thank you for that, Tiger. China fakes everything. Well, there's again, if you're looking numismatics, one thing about numismatics when you're looking at fakes is to have good people who understand it. I will utilize people like Chuck Daughtry of Copper Coins. I will utilize Livecoin QA to get information from them. I'll also use Jack Riley, Jack Young, and Joe Cronin. Those are people I will go to when it talks about fake numismatics. They've wrote a lot of books on those, so I will be checking on those. So again, what's important when you're trying to protect yourself from counterfeits, fakes, investments, fraud, is to have people in your back pocket who can help you. Uh, I it's easy to say there, a lot of people that are really smart in this, in these hobbies, will say that they're not experts, but it's important to have people who understand them. The reason that I say Jack Riley is really important is because he's wrote the book, especially if you're looking at some really old flowing hairs, if you're looking at large cents, things of that nature, Morgan dollars. Um, he's always looking at places like Timu and WhatsApp and eBay to try to find fakes and have those listings removed to try to protect you. He's doing the Lord's work when it comes to coin collecting and numismatics. Again, make sure you're subscribing. 25 more subscribers. Tiger has offered an amazing gift. So if you're in here again, it's free to you, but it really does help the channel out. So thank you so much for that. Um, Again, I've got some stuff that we're going to be doing on New Year's uh, to support the channel. So if you're supporting your channel, you're a subscriber. I've got a couple of really cool giveaways that I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be pulling my entire subscription list and running a giant will on New Year's Day. So again, you do not have to be present, but you do have to claim your prize within 1 week. So we'll be talking more about the rules of the New Year's giveaway. So you're definitely going to want to be here for that. Um, let's see here. What else do we got going on here? All our friends follow the lies. Yeah, you got to be very careful. Sigma Pro, Gen X Collectibles. I have a Sigma Pro Mini. It reads all the way through the coin, but still weigh it with the bullion. Yeah, so you're gonna want to check some of the fundamentals. So first off is you're gonna want to make sure you have the resources available. So what do you need to have if you're looking for a pre-33 gold, for instance? What resources do you have to have available? Well, you can have a red book. You can have something that tells you what the weight should be. It should tell you what the thickness should be. It should tell you what the diameter should be. It'll tell you what the mintage is. I would never use a red book for value because they change. But um, yeah, coach, we'll talk about that. I have a way of dealing with that. Um, but let's see here. Uh, Specific gravity test. Tiger Stacker has done a video on how to look at specific gravity. There's a little bit of math. If you don't like to math, don't do that. It's not very difficult, but there are ways that you can check the authenticity without doing something like uh, the, um, the Sigma Analytics. But if you do like to do that, definitely go and check that one out regarding specific gravity. That's another way to do it. Again, you have the ping test, you have the slide test. You want to check the thickness, check the weight. There's all these things. Hey, Siren, what's going on? Merry Christmas. There's all the emojis. You always know when she pops into a room. Thank you so much. She's a great moderator. I appreciate all the modding you've done. Coin Junkies in the house. What's up, my northern brother? Good to see you. Thank you so much for coming in and hanging out with us. Tiger Stacker is doing a video. He's actually generating some stuff to make it easier. He's actually generating a worksheet that will help you with specific gravity. So when he does that, you're going to have to want to make sure you do that. Tiger, I don't know if you have that actually out here. Um, so Silver Sleuth makes a really good point. I'm going to mark this, and this is really important. You want to make sure that if you have a skill, and my skill is right here, it's really important if you have a skill that it goes at least to 2 digits. If it can go to 3, then that's fine. But if you're going to be buying one of these, that's really cool. Now, I picked up one of these really cheap. It does go out to 3 digits, but I got a really cool tool with this. I actually bought this from a coin channel, and in there is this little sheet. And this little sheet tells me the weights of all of the coins. So if I'm looking at an Indian head cent between 59 and 64, it weighs 4.67 grams. If I'm looking at one that is 64 to 1909, it weighs 3.11. 1909 Lincoln cent to 1942, they weigh 3.11 grams. 1943 weighs 2.7, 44 to 82, 3.1. But after 83, you're looking for 2.5, barring the 82, 83 mix. So again, it's really important to have something like this. I probably will recreate this, and I'm going to try and see if I can get something like this laminated. If you guys would like something like this, let me know. It'll be free. I'll give it away to anybody who uh, purchases something like a super chat or whatnot. I can put this in, add a stamp or something like this. Don't do it yet because I don't have them created, but it is something that I think I'm going to be doing. I'll give it out free if somebody decides that they want to do something like offer a super chat. Then I'll put these out. This will be something that I do free for everybody. If you guys like that, do me a favor, put a one in chat. If you think that this is something that you would like to do moving for 2025, and then I will work to get a bunch of these put together so that you guys can have some of these. It is not an extensive, it is not a full on list of every coin that's out there. But if you guys would like to have something like that, let me know and I can put something like that together. Um, Coin measurements, compare it to a good coin. Yes, it's always good to have good versions of something or have good resources. And never trust one single resource. Always look up multiple resources. Um, yeah, so I'll look at doing that. Check Stacker. Good to see you, by the way. Merry Christmas to you. Although I'll be saying Merry Christmas to you January 7th, as well as Tiger. Probably know why I said that. So I will work on putting something like that together. Let me see if I can build something and find out how much it costs to get this lamination done. But I will try to put something like this. The dad joke is, why can't you hear a pterodactyl go to the bathroom? Because the P is silent. I like that dad joke. That one's fun. Um, Inkman has to put a one. Yeah, I got you. I got you. I see the little humor there. But anyway, I want to try and generate and do some resources for you guys. But the one thing I will tell you when it comes to this, I'm not going to rebuild the wheel. There are other channels. Livecoin Q&A is doing some revamping of some stuff. They're doing some really cool things that's going to come out at the beginning of the year. So be paying attention to the stuff that Livecoin QA is coming out. Their site is really cool, a lot of information. But again, have more than one site for your resources. If you're going to be searching pennies, do things like go to Wexler's Variety Vista Copper Coins. If you're going to be looking for CUDs, use CUDs on coins, but also look at other sites to look and verify and validate some of the information. If you are looking at gold, make sure you have resources available to you. There's a number of different places that you can go to. It's good to have some of the key bullion companies that you want to look at for spot price. One of the ones that I utilize for spot is Kitco, but Kitco isn't the only one. And again, I want you to understand that if I'm naming a company or if I'm naming a channel, I'm not a sponsor. I don't get sponsored by any of them. These are just people that I use. I'm sharing you the resources that I would utilize in my day-to-day use of collecting numismatics or stacking. If I want to find out good information about bullion, I'm going to be going to places like SD, JM, Monument. I'm going to be going to um, places like Kitco, right? I'm going to be trying to find sources there. If I'm going to be looking at numismatic items, I'm going to have different shops that I'm going to reach out to compare prices to. I'm going to have people, I'm going to reach out to various channels and connect with them and find out information about, hey, how much would this be? How much could I buy this from your shop? I'm going to call some buddies of mine that own coin shops. I'm going to call different channels. I'm not going to stop at one channel. Like I'll call Keith from Coin Crew and say, hey, man, how much could you do this? But I might also call, um, uh, let's see, what's another one that I might call? Um, Minot. I might call Minot Coin and say, hey, this is the price I was given on this. Do you have this? I might call some of my friends that are here in YouTube and say, hey, how much can you get this for? Call your coin shop and check it out because I'm going to be looking for the best price. Now, I might go to certain channels because I support the channel and buy something from them. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they have the best price point. It means that I'm trying to support that particular channel. So again, but I know that I can trust these people. Hey, what's up, me? Merry Christmas, my brother from another Navy mother. Hope you're doing well. Salute to you. Hope you're doing well. Are you at home or are you on the road? Hopefully you're at home on this Christmas holiday. Me drives freight. He's one of the people who deliver our goods across the states. So hopefully you're home with your family. That'd be really nice. If you are at home, please tell everything that Mai said hi. For those of you who don't know what I just said, um, his wife is everything, and I go by Mai. All right. Red Silver, I could never have a close friend that owned coins in a coin shop. I'd be broke. Yeah, but you know what? I have a lot of friends that own coin shops, and I have a lot of friends that are there. But I utilize them for a number of different reasons. I utilize them for information. If I'm going to be asking for something, I usually will go to them. There are some great coin shops here in my area. Um, the problem is that they're 45, 50, 60 miles away. So I don't necessarily always go to them. We do have a couple that are local that I go to, but again, if I'm going to be buying something, I'm going to shop around. My local coin shop might not be the best price. So sometimes I go local, sometimes I don't. So, but again, I have a number of people that I trust and a number of resources that I can go to in order to make sure that I get the best deal. But again, one of the important pieces about this discussion today is protecting your family. So make sure that if you have a stack or if you have a nice collection, that you keep the telephone numbers and the websites of those particular entities written down. If you have a sheet like my did I get my box? If you sent it to my PO box, no, I haven't gone there. If you send it to my house, it hasn't arrived yet. Um, I'll have to check after the holidays. There might have been a delay, but we'll see. Um, but I'll let you know as soon as I get it, me. Okay. Shellback. Uh DDG Westpac Shellback. I'm glad we got some shellbacks in the house. If you don't know what a shellback is, that means you have crossed the equator. You have crossed to come back. Um, so me is a, or excuse me, Silver Sleuth is a. Uh, I am also a DDG or yeah, 985. I was on two different ones. I crossed on a DDG in 1994, and that's when I got my shellbacks. So Westpac, congratulations on that. Yeah, that's very cool. Those that didn't cross the equator during their time in the Navy is known as a WOG. So you have WOGs and shellbacks. Unfortunately, in my first divorce, my wife at the time destroyed almost everything but my card. So I still have my card, but I do not have my certificate. It got destroyed. So unfortunately, I'm trying to see if there's any way that I can get that. I'm trying to reach a hold of the Master at Arms to get my shellbacks back, but we'll see one day. I might be lucky enough to get a copy of that. Hopefully, it's not lost forever. Um, the um, the storing Tiger Stacker does a really good job about doing uh, sheets, documenting. Good grief, documenting information regarding what he buys. He is very specific. In a conversation that we had the other day, we talked about some of the lessons that we had learned in 2024 about grace and knowledge and where information comes from. He showed some of his information when it came to uh, the stuff that he's done regarding not only his stacking but his investment in crypto. If you're documenting that, one thing that you need to include in that list are good telephone numbers and contact lists so that if something ever was to happen to you, somebody would know how or where to do this. Now, Tiger Stacker is very fortunate in that he has a coin shop. It's actually a pawn shop that is a wonderful relationship. And if his wife was to ever take something there, they would take really good care of them. So again, if you have senior citizens in your family, you have mothers, fathers, grandparents, make sure that they have that stuff documented. Make sure that that stuff is listed so that they know what's going on. Again, this is another form of protection for them, so that if they have somebody, they know where to go and who to talk to make sure we understand values, and to make sure that those things are put into place. Again, it's another type of safeguard. If you have investments and portfolios or things like that, you want to make sure that you have people that can reach a hold of your portfolio. Make sure they know insurance companies, where that stuff is at. It's really important that you have the fundamentals for things like, do you have a will? Do you have a living will? Do you have a DNR, DNI? Do you have these things put into place? And if you do, document them, because again, something can happen at any time. Yes, we're talking about Christmas. We're talking about protecting our family and making sure these things are in place. But what good are those protections if your family don't know that they have them? So make sure that those things are listed, they're documented, they're put into a place where you can have that stuff. Because again, make sure that you're protecting them as well. That stuff, Mad Dim ripped you off to. I don't know what that means, Invisible. Not sure what that means. I have to. You're probably including um, a- another discussion, so I'm not tracking that discussion. All right. Again, if you are watching this and you're watching it on a phone, double tap that screen. Make sure you're smashing that like. I definitely appreciate you all for being here this morning. If you have any questions, let's go ahead and see if you can open it up. Funny how some cheap people are. Funny how cheap some people are. $200 is all I'm worth. They still, yeah, well, yeah, people want to take what you have. Easy money, it's easy to take somebody else's money. Sometimes it's really hard to work for it. I tell my sons in some cases, if you worked as hard not doing the work as you would just getting the job done, you'd be amazing. So again, if some of these people worked as hard as they do trying to rip you off, a lot of these people using the brains that they have would make tons of money. Tiger Stacker with another $5 super chat. Make yourself a death letter. A death letter is something that Tiger Stacker created that listed all the information, the important resources, and the valuable information available. Coach's Magic says documentation is everything. Oh no, everything was in a car crash. Is she okay? I hope she's doing all right. Please give her my love. Let her know that we're praying for her. Hope she's doing well. Just saw that me. That's not good. Living trust with all the information. Get with the estate lawyer. A small investment, peace of mind. Gen X. That's a very good thing to be included. You want to make sure that you document these things. Have these things in place. Again, it's very important that you have this stuff documented. Folks, I don't know how old you are. I'm early 50s, and I want to make sure that um, my family is taken care of. So I have a living will. I have a DNR, a do not resuscitate or a resuscitate order, making sure that if something happens and I become incapacitated, my wishes are there. They have access and information to my will. All this stuff is presented to them upon my death. My bank accounts are listed. They know where my accounts are located. I give them the information from those people. So the president, in the case of my credit union, who's known me for God Almighty 30 years, they have information. I also have somebody who's appointed to be a conservator of my will should something happen and there be contentions in the family. Making sure that people understand that. Tiger Stacker again said that death letter. Death letter is extremely important, but make sure you have these things put into place. Having something like that living trust or a living will, um, what your orders are, what your items are in that particular instant. Um, there are different ways if you have businesses or things of that nature, understanding how to protect your investment and your private portfolios. Again, have somebody that is smart with finance. You don't want me generating that information from you. I go to somebody that knows what they're doing. So make sure you have the right people included in that. Um, Tobacco Rose says, I am constantly dropping off little bits of silver with my kids and telling them what it's worth and where the LCS is. It's important to teach your people and teach your kids or your grandkids information about this and how much is this stuff worth. Showing them. I frequently go to the grocery store and I take $50 with me and I hand them to people and say, "Hey, this is yours." I do this after the transaction, so there's never something. The till is always closed. Let managers know. I give them out to people. And they're like, "Oh my God, I've never seen one of these." It's like, well, this is what it's worth, right? This is a silver 40%. It's actually worth about $10, $12, or let them know. And they're like, this it says 50 cents. Understand, but it's made of 40% silver. I give them one of my channel stickers and I said, if you want to know more about it, check out the channel. Inform yourself, right? Look at how much these are worth. Check this out. Check Stacker just dropped $4.99 super chat. My death call My death letter is called an ICIC in case I croak. I like that. That's funny. I might have to change my death letter to that. That's hilarious. My ICIC. Check Stacker, I might have to steal that from you. Um, but yes, talk to your kids about constitutional silver. It's really important that they understand what that is. And again, I like this one. This one made me laugh. This is hilarious. Um, yeah, make sure they understand what those things are and where they're located. Again, thank you for this $5 super chat. I definitely appreciate it. Coach's Magic. Um, Four of my kids are grandkids. Yeah, I understand how that works. Um, I was one of my grandkids' kids growing up. Again, folks, if you're watching this and you're not a subscriber, consider subscribing. I'm really close to 5K. It really does help the channel out. It's free to you, but it helps me out a ton. It helps me give out good information and be able to come live for you guys. So please make sure you do that. I really do appreciate you guys. Let me recycle this. Let's refresh this. Um, let's see, Coach Magic, living trust is crucial. If you're worried about loved ones waiting for your assets to go through probate, could take a long time. Oh man, probate's nightmare. We had some stuff we had to go through. Families will fight, and if items are not specifically listed in your will, they tend to disappear. It's also important that if you have uh, somebody that's going to be listed, that they're on your emergency list of contacts. I would be very leery about issuing powers of attorney, but make sure that in your will that you list people for power of attorney to make sure that they can speak on your behalf, but make sure that they are trusted. Make sure they are trustworthy. Blah. Try this again. Make sure they are trustworthy assets. Make sure that they are dependable and reliable. Here's the problem: family members are wonderful, but when money is involved, it doesn't matter if they are friends, close friends, it doesn't matter if they are your spouses, your siblings. When somebody dies, people get greedy. It's really important that you have a neutral, non-party to understand and negotiate sometimes, especially if you're talking about massive wealth. Uh, yeah, it is. Stuff will disappear. One thing about when my grandmother died, we had family members who went and they actually went through stuff and they were like, hey, there are things that certain people want. There are certain things that people felt like they were entitled to. And, people started taking stuff. Now, most of it was pretty conducive to congeniality, but not always. When my uncle died, uh, it was nasty. He had left my mother a significant sum of money, and the family knew it. But as he was dying, he was losing his mind just hours before he died. Um, they made him sign a document taking all that back. Obviously, they went through, and the lawyers knew that that wasn't real because that person had not been in the right frame of mind for quite some time. They knew that no document would be able to hold that, and so they investigated, and it was able to be worked out. But people get vicious. People get extremely vindictive during those time frames, and so while we're sitting here, we're around family during the holidays. Have some of these discussions, right? Yes, we want to celebrate, we want to give thanks, we want to show love and support and share gifts and share some of these items. And we want to do this. But again, it's extremely important that not only are we doing this, but we're making sure that we share not only just love and enjoyment and relationship, but talk about those discussions. Talk about what happens when I go away. Where are these things? What do these things mean? And have those hard discussions. And those hard discussions don't just happen. You have to plan for them. You have to actually make time. There's an old adage. I'm going to pull it up so I can. Um, I'm going to actually do this because I want to quote this exactly. In order to have time, one must make time to take time. And so everybody has time, but it's amazing. Oh my God, I'm so busy. Oh my God, I have all this stuff going on. I just, you don't understand how busy I am. You don't understand how much I've got going on. And sometimes if we just put our phone away and we don't stare at the freaking YouTube the whole time, then it's, you might have some free time. But in order to have time, you have to make it. You have to be diligent about your time and you have to plan these conversations. These conversations normal these conversations normally don't just come up. What's going on? My button is red. Not sure what's going on there. Can you guys still hear me? I just got a weird notification. Can you guys still hear me? Can somebody put a thumbs up or something and let me know that you guys can still hear me? Waiting for chat to catch up. Okay, you hear? Okay, okay. Just want to make sure. I got a notification about my sound, and all of a sudden it was like, I can't tell if you hear me. And then my red button is on. It should be green, but it's okay. But yeah, you have to make time to plan time. I want to share this one. It's extremely important. My parents had a survivorship deed file that added me and my sister on their property, so when they passed, we automatically retained the ownership. It's very important to understand, right? Tobacco Rose says my mom is 93. She passed down silver about 5 years ago. It was a pain in the neck. I did most of the dividing. Yeah, it can be, and this is why it's important to have somebody who understands and is kind of a neutral party, one that's going to be fair. Because I'll tell you, I've talked to families. I have a good friend of mine whose father died, and when their father died, he had fairly good amount of money. Unfortunately, the family, the sons, wanted to separate his ranch. They wanted to take his goods. But by the time that the family had got to where he lives about 6 hours from where I live. By the time that the family had got there, all of the boats, the trucks, all the water seacraft, a lot of the farm equipment and stuff was all gone. Um, some of the stuff that they had found, they went through and did investigations, but the family members had came and got it and actually sold the stuff and taken money for it. The stuff was gone by the time that the actual um, people had got there to actually count the items and actually go through it. So it's really important that you list these particular items and that you document that you have a good understanding of who has access to these items. And again, find trusted sources because again, you'll be surprised that when the information comes out, when the bottom line, when the rough meets the road, right? How critical people can be and what kind of decisions people will make when you're not there to help choose that for them. Some of the sacks of coins had chlorine damage from the pool. Ooh, man. We'll talk about storage a lot. One of the best things that you can do is understand how to store coins. Um, So, but yeah, it's very important to understand the protection and the safe storage of your coins and silver and gold for that matter. Now, gold is not really something that corrodes or it's actually extremely resistant to that. Silver does deteriorate, but not nearly as bad as gold does. But again, you want to make sure that you protect your items that way. I was the divider, but my parents wrote my brother out of the will with the first sentence. And that is a hard fact, River Ranch. Sometimes there are those situations where you need to make sure that those things are put into place, and sometimes they become very tumultuous. Sometimes there's a lot of bad blood because of historical things that have happened within families. So it's extremely important that those things are put into place. Now, it doesn't if you have an arbitrator, somebody that's coming in to do this for you, have a conservator of a will, their requirement is to do that. But it doesn't mean that there's not going to be some legal things that can't happen. That people will do that. Again, you can separate money, but I've seen families where a husband or a wife dies and they've left money to a certain kid, but that spouse doesn't want that kid to have it because maybe they're a stepchild or something of that nature, or maybe they feel like you got a split family. Maybe they feel their kids are more deserving of yours. So again, it's really important that these things are taking into consideration, and you talk about it. My wife and I have talked about this stuff a number of times, and make sure that we understand where money is and how money is divided, and making sure that we have those neutral parties to that. So again, you want to make sure those protections are put into place, but not just for you. You want to make sure that your parents are put into those positions and make sure that those things are safeguarded for them as well. Um, yeah, you want to just make sure these, yeah, exactly. Let's see. I will try regardless. So they have all, so, yeah, yeah. I'm going to make Christmas ham. Take care, everyone. Be peaceful. Enjoy. Yeah, I am going to be wrapping this up myself. I need to get to my family. It is 10 o'clock here. I've been streaming for about 2 hours now. I'm sure that they have got up from their naps, and we're probably going to have breakfast and start eating some stuff here shortly. So I'm going to get back to my family. Again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming in. Again, it's important to protect our seniors, not only from scams, but protect our investments should something happen and we end up not being here. Family politics, yes, Invisible River Ranch can be heavy stuff, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. If we have the conversations and we come to agreements and we come to terms while people are alive, there's going to be a lot less resentment and a lot less struggle when the time comes for those things to be divided. Make sure you protect your assets. Make sure that you do those things, do the due diligence. But the most thing that you can do is show a little bit of kindness, show a little bit of grace, and love is free. All right, folks, be well, be blessed. I appreciate you guys. Again, if you're new, you're just watching, make sure that you're subscribing to the channel. Pay attention. Mark the calendar for New Year's. I've got a massive coming home New Year's Eve. So make sure that you're here for that. Again, I think I'm 25 subscribers away from 5,000. So make sure you're doing that. Tiger's got a gift. And if we can get Tiger to 2,000 subscribers, I'm giving away a 10th ounce of gold. So you want to be available for that one too. All right, folks, be well, be blessed. I love you all. Have a wonderful Merry Christmas. And thank you all for joining me today. I will see you guys in the streams. Be well, be blessed. Take care. Merry Christmas.